Hi, I'm Jonah Comstock, Editor-in-Chief at pharmaphorum. I'm here at CIC in Kendall Square in Cambridge. I'm with Pierre Luzeau, CEO of SEQENS. Thanks for joining me, Pierre.
Nice to meet you today.
So SEQENS is a lot of things. It's not just a CDMO, it's not just a CRO. How do you describe the organization and all of the sort of vertical things that you do to support pharma?
Yeah, so first of all, we are a young company, 20 years old. We're starting from scratch, and today we have 16 industrial sites worldwide, 10 R&D center, and what we do is basically two things. One is generic products, where we develop, and then we produce APIs and their regulated starting material, intermediates. And the second part of SEQENS is about developing the novel drugs for our customer. So from early stage down to the commercial phase. This is what we do in pharma.
And your operations in the United States is a fairly recent thing, right? The factory in Devens just opened last year. Talk to me about why you wanted to be here and what kind of the future vision looks like that this operation fits into.
Yeah, we acquired in 2018 a company called PCI Industry in order to develop our footprint in the US. Reason is rather obvious. First, it's the country for the development of novel drugs. It's the biggest market. And third, even though we don't have much industrial presence here in the US, the US and North America in general represent 20% of our turnover, which is around about 1.3 billion US dollar. So this is the first block of reason. The second one is we want to install ourselves as a very innovative company. This is our DNA since many years, to grow through innovation and bring that innovation directly to the customer. And effectively, with our new Devens facility, which is the second largest R&D center for SEQENS worldwide, we have, I think, a very unique tool to accompany our clients.
So a lot of the conversation this morning was sort of about making the pitch to these Boston biotechs of why they should work with you. Can you give me the kind of short version of that? What are some of your differentiators, and as they're looking for different partners for research and for manufacturing, what are some of the things you guys have to offer?
I think from the customer perspective, what are the key differentiator? First, you want to go fast to the market. Second, you want to have a cost competitive product. And third, you want to protect through IP your discovery. And thanks to this, let's say, lever for differentiation, we try to organize ourselves in order to answer to those, I would say, questions. The first one concerning go to the market. We have a unique organization where, with a single point of contact, we accompany the customer from early stage to commercial. So there's one point of contact and an organization splitted among R&D, industrial, development, and all those people are coordinated in a single manner. Second, on cost competitiveness, this one is ultra important, because even if you have a novel drug, you want to make it as competitive as possible to access to the largest market as possible, or even you want to have the best margin, of course. And there, without going into the detail of the technologies for the customer, let's take two examples. The first one is flow chemistry. Flow chemistry is a way to reduce the number of steps of chemical synthesis. This way, you can, for example, shrink from 8 different chemical steps to only 3 or 4. You understand easily that it can reduce your cost. It can reduce also safety. It can improve safety because chemicals sometimes is dangerous. With this type of technology, you can reduce the impact. And third, environment. If you use the flow chemistry, you can clearly reduce the impact on the environment because there's less scrap, less emission in the air, less emission in the water. So the third parameter is effectively environmental impact in general. And on this one, we have been embarked since years into a very comprehensive program in order to not only reduce the impact on the environment, but in a more broader way to think about the future products with a lower impact from the very beginning of the conception of the novel drug.
Yeah, one of your colleagues said something this morning that was very interesting to me, which is that a small biotech might not be thinking about some of these environmental ESG sustainability issues, but when it comes time to try to sell to a big pharma company, they're going to be thinking about it. And having kind of gotten that in place ahead of time could be a real differentiator in making that sale. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, biotechs, most innovators, who are there? It's scientists, it's R&D engineers, these are entrepreneurs. And all this process leading to, from early stage, the idea they have, down to industrialization and commercialization, is something new for them most of the time. What are the companies that succeed in the biotech? The one that want to go fast to the market, and to go fast from the market to the market, you have to think about the industrialization day one, because going from phase 2A, 1A, 1B, then 2A, 2B, each step is critical, and if you are missing a part of it, you come back to the very beginning. So I think we can offer this predictability of what will be the different step and how to proceed. And this knowledge, we have it internally, of course, but we gather it from the experience we had on so many projects.
So I have a couple other things I want to cover with you. One is cell for cure. So you guys sort of bought your way into cell and gene therapy manufacturing via an acquisition from Novartis just last year. I mean, that is such an important field to be in right now. It's certainly one that a lot of Boston biotechs, as well as all over the world, have their eye on. How are you looking to sort of make that play and be involved in cell and gene as that space kind of grows and figures out its infrastructure woes?
First of all, cell and gene therapy is, as you say, a novel way to look at pharma for the future. If you make a comparison, more than 100 years ago, the medicines were made in pharmacists, by adding things together, and then progressively appears the chemical synthesis, and then process of industrialization. Takes, for example, the aspirin. It was developed at the very beginning of the 20th century, and it was initially at lab scale, and then very rapidly go to production and mass production. We are at the same moment for the cell and gene therapy. It's very adapted technology to the patient, autologous effectively. We have the allogenic mode that allows to treat multiple clients, but we are at the very beginning. So of course for us, we enter into a buoyant segment. We are entering also with a very strong asset, an asset that is fully GMP. It's EMA approved and FDA, so we can rapidly propose to the customer product that will go from early stage to commercial. So the asset is very strong, very recognized, at least in Europe, with a large capacity. So we are capable to take multiple clients. And so I believe we enter by the, as we said in Europe, by the big door. We are also conscious that as it's a novel part of the science, it will take time. So we should be patient. We should be available to our customer and focus. And for the focalization, Boston is the perfect spot to grab the attention on this new proposal of cell for cure from SEQENS. So we are extremely happy and excited by the opportunity that is opening.
So one more question and I'll let you go. We talked about the research side and the manufacturing side, and it makes sense to me the way those fit together and synergize. But the generics piece is interesting. That's often a separate business. How does it fit into the whole kind of project you're doing, and what are kind of some of your goals as a generics manufacturer?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting question because what brings the generic to the group? It brings basically three things. The first one is, in a sense, financial stability, because the CDMO business, the novel drugs, brings risk into a company. You never know if a novel drug will succeed. So we can have some very big success, but we can have at the same time some failures. It is what it is, right? So generics, from that standpoint, brings stability and some cash flow, I would say, to the company. Second, there's in the generic business a patent cliff where a lot of old products, coming from different therapeutic area are coming to the market. A lot of generic company has worked on it for years in order to bring a novel solution, and so it will not be exactly the product, the ancient generic. It will be enhanced generic, and especially as far as bioavailability is concerned. And on this matter, SEQENS is very strong. So we can offer to the generic company some new solution to have a product that are well absorbed and by the patients with less secondary effects, better dispersibility. So this is the second answer to your question. Not only it's a more stable business, but also it brings innovation finally. It brings innovation differently with all products, but that can be enhanced.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Is there any final thoughts you have? Anything that you want to say to the pharmaphorum audience? It's a kind of a group of pharma execs around the world, and other folks who work in the life sciences.
I am very positive going forward concerning the pharma industry. Of course, it's restructured itself because of geopolitics, because of regionalization. It restructured itself because of novel scientific discovery, and cell and gene therapy is one. Artificial intelligence is another one. So all those technology will be breakthrough for the future. And our aim as SEQENS is to accompany the big pharma, mid, small, and pharma and biotechs, especially here in Boston, because it's a hub that is second to none. It's the place to be for pharma, and we are so happy to be there.
Well, thank you so much, Pierre, and thanks for chatting with you today.
Thank you. Pleasure.